Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 306. I'm here as Brandhyze Stanley, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you for having me.
The whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. But you should never give up, and you should prove to them you can still amount to something. But labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, and you should prove to them you can still amount to something. This is episode 306. It's a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest, and looking forward to building, like just too early in the morning, looking forward to building a friendship with you and having you as a guest. I know I had that backwards, but let's jump into it.
All right.
So, Brandhyze, I'm going to ask you a couple of easy questions, then a couple of hard-hitting ones. Then I'm going to pass the show over to you, and you can ask me anything you want.
Okay.
And starting off, what can you tell us about yourself growing up? And did you enjoy high school and college?
I grew up in a small town in northwest Indiana. It's called Michigan City. And it was the same town that my father was born in. So, you know, a lot of my dad always knew, like, the people, my friends' parents, because he kind of grew up with them, that sort of thing. So I knew early on, because apparently my high school Spanish teacher said that I wanted to model and act even in high school. I must have told her that. So it was something that my parents would entertain. Like, my mom would take me out in the yard and take pictures with me, and we'd have little mock photo shoots that, you know, once you learn what you're really doing, you go back and laugh at those kind of photos. But it got me started. And so, you know, we would get in different, you know, programs and just try to put our feelers out. And once I got to college, I went to school at Loyola University, and I got a degree I majored in accounting, and I minored in Spanish. And, you know, I studied abroad there in Costa Rica and came back, and so made that my minor. And it was just a wonderful experience. You know, high school had its challenging years. I may not repeat high school, but I would definitely would repeat college.
Oh, in college, were you a study nerd or party animal?
I was a study nerd. Like, you could find me in the library with my backpack. Like, that accounting degree, I always tell people, it kicked my butt. You know, I did well, but it wasn't because I could just be like, oh, you know, I'll pick it up right before the final. No, from the time classes started, I would even tell myself, this time I'm going to read my textbooks, you know, to get a jump on things before classes start. Just because once you get in there, you're drowning just immediately. And so, you know, I was a stay in the library kind of person, went to very few parties, went to very few sporting events. So I didn't have that quite college experience, but I did have a good one.
I hear you. Well, I never got a chance to do it, but, you know, I got a chance to visit college.
Okay.
You know, when my brothers went to their college, I got the chance to go and check it out. But I got the short end of the stick. You know, basically, I didn't have a high school diploma. I have a IEP diploma.
Okay.
And people who want to know what an IEP is, it's basically an individual educational program for people who have special needs. And it's basically saying you took the classes you had to, and I'm basically, you know, I'm a long story short, I was pushed along. You know, my school basically took a shit on me. It's basically, it's like you're saying, and I don't mean to bitch to you, I apologize.
Oh, no.
It's basically saying, oh, Mr. and Mrs. blah, 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 we know your son has a disability, but we promise you, after these 4 years, he will be a functional adult. He can do this, he can do that. No. Oh, Keith, you here today? Oh, go sit in the corner and read the newspaper. Don't bother us. So basically, I was pushed along. I didn't learn anything. So I was labeled as mentally disturbed, handicapped, and retarded. So I'm like, okay, fine. If that's the labels you want to give me, I'm going to show you I can still amount to something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm using this as, you know, I used to use my learning disability as a crutch. You know, can't do this, I can't do that, poor me. And I'm like, you know what? If I want to amount to something, if I want to prove to people I can do something, I'm going to show you. And so I'm turning a weakness into a strength.
You are. And you should be proud of that, though. And you said you've done 306 episodes. That's, more than some people who one might call with normal capabilities aren't out there doing their own show, and we use excuses as time and, I don't know, I don't have a camera, can't get people to be on the show. So kudos to you for getting out there and doing it.
Oh, absolutely. Now, the next easy question I was going to ask you was, did you ever do any sports growing up?
I did. I ran track and field for many years. I think I ran from like 5th grade to senior in high school. So I would do high jump and the relays and the 100 and the 200. I did play basketball. I was not the best basketball player, but I gave it a valiant effort. I was a cheerleader, and I think that was it for sports.
One thing I do want to point out is, how's it on your side? Is it freezing, or do you see me perfectly?
You said, how is it on your side, the visualization of you?
Yes.
I see you great.
Right, because mine looks kind of a little cartoony.
Oh,
so,
really?
It's perfect. You look great, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
But I'm not saying it occasionally locks up occasionally, but it's Skype. You can't always get what you need, right?
Exactly.
But this is why, for part 2 when we do our interview, it's definitely got to be in person, and it won't be so robotic.
Okay.
But then the next question I was going to ask you was, did he ever get the chance to do one of those human pyramids?
And cheerleading, yes. And I was always, because I was, smaller, I probably weighed 100 pounds for a great part of my life. I finally gained some weight, but I was always the person that they put on top. I was even dropped a couple times, which, it's not fun. But cheerleading overall, we would go to competitions and compete, and we won a couple trophies and stuff. So I enjoyed cheerleading.
Well, would you be interested in doing some human pyramids for fun?
I don't know. I'm not as agile, though I do motion capture every day. I'm sure if, the right circumstances, I still can jump right into it and you can throw me up there.
I love that stuff. I'm a loser.
Really? So have you ever been in a human pyramid?
Oh, it's funny. I always talked about this with the girls, because my way for was the girls. I want to set my own YouTube record.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to getting a whole bunch of women together and do a whole bunch of different pyramids and everything. And I was wondering if you would be interested in helping me out with that.
Now, did you have this goal before today?
I had it since I was 4, actually.
Wow.
I know, I'm a loser.
No. That's really funny.
But that's throwing it out there, it's on my bucket list.
Yeah, I got to collect people along the way, hit them up one day, 3 years from now, finally got my numbers up, let's go do it.
But overall, would you be interested? Basically, it's just a group hangout, you're having fun and everything. Would you be interested in that?
I may entertain it.
Now, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to ask you hard-hitting questions about your acting career.
Okay.
And then I will pass it over to you.
Okie dokie.
A message for yourself or as a gift for someone else. For personal connections, shout-outs, birthdays, proposals, weddings, and much more. Enter your details about yourself so the celebrity can record a personal video message especially for you, including details such as your name, age, birthday, hobbies, or whatever else you include. As soon as the video has been recorded, you'll get an email with your link so you can share it on social media or download and keep it. Celebrities record videos as and when they can, usually within 2 weeks. But if you want a video for a specific date and it does not look like it will arrive in time, you can cancel it and get an instant refund at the click of a button. There are hundreds of celebrities to choose from and many more joining every day. Search by category or genre. Buy a gift voucher, get updates and offers, and encourage your favorite celebrities to join so they can connect with fans in a fun and unique way. Raise money for their charities and much more. So order your video now for yourself or for someone else.
I'm so bored.
Want to see something really cool?
Yeah!
Now you'll never be bored again with Loot Crate, a totally bodacious mystery box packed with awesome toys, radical games, and other surprises. And the best part is, you can get Loot Crate delivered right to your door. So don't delay. Ask your parents and order today.
Everything okay in there?
Yeah, everything great. I love Loot Crate.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 306. I'm here with the talented and beautiful Bernice. The talented and beautiful Bernice. And I just want to say thank you for sticking with us. If I butchered your name, I apologize. It's too early in the morning. Usually I'm getting up right now at 11. I'm not really a morning person. Haven't had my coffee.
I got mine right over there.
Now, I'm going to ask you some easy and hard-hitting questions about your career, and then we're going to pass it over. Don't worry, we still have about 35 minutes left. Don't worry, I have my little timer here. Usually, for the first 10 minutes in, I ask you the easy questions until we break the ice. Now we're going to ask for the hard-hitting ones.
Okay.
Now, the first question I was going to ask you is, who influenced you to start your acting career, and what were some of your first acting roles?
I think it's a compilation of things. I have an aunt, Andrea, who always performed, so I looked up to her. I, at an early age, loved Halle Berry, and ironically enough, I got to be her stand-in and stand in for her on some commercials and a movie, and so lots of different things kind of mixed into the pot of wanting to do it, and just growing up, I didn't think that if you were Charlize Theron or Denzel or someone that that you could make a living doing this. And so once I got exposed to the fact that you can, there are commercials and television shows and things that you can do that all build into it while you're working to make it, so to speak, make the big break, I should say. That there is a way of life there, and a comfortable one at that. And so a lot of things played into it.
No, absolutely. And Halle Berry is a beautiful woman.
She is.
Would you, Grace, you looks better as long hair than short hair?
She's always iconic as short hair. Though I'm all for her, especially having my own plights, because I used to have short hair for a very long time. And so, always friends are like, Brandhyze, when are you going back to the short hair? Even my mom said that. So, I embrace people changing and evolving, and, you're not having to keep one particular hairstyle for your entire life. Kind of like Mr. T. I feel bad. We always know him with the mohawk, and he can't get any other hairstyle. So I'm all for people growing and evolving.
That's true, and Mr. T can always use some Rogaine, so.
Absolutely.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, you were on Blue Bloods recently. Was it a temporary role, or you got to be a regular?
I am what they consider now recurring. I've been on 5 episodes, so I'm really blessed to have had that experience. It, I went into the audition thinking it was just going to be 1 episode, and the director and other folks there start to really like me and would bring me back, and so it's been blessed to get more and more episodes under my belt as the tenacious reporter that gives Donnie Wahlberg a hard time or stands up and says something to Tom Selleck right before we crash the commercial break. So it's been really cool and really fun.
No, absolutely. The next question I was going to ask you, and don't worry, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to pass it to you, is what was it like working with Tom Selleck and Donnie Wahlberg?
They were both very nice on set, and it's just an all-around. I feel like on sets that the hierarchy starts at the top on how people get treated and treat other people. The lower you go on the totem pole, but very gracious to work with. They always speak, and Tom Selleck, hi, I'm Tom Selleck. You're like, I know who you are. But the fact that he still, introduces himself, and will, chat in between setups when, they're moving the cameras in the other room, and will, swap stories and tell you about his early days in Magnum PI. You can hear him talking to someone else and kind of listening to those things. So both of them were great to work with. And I make leather handbags, and the director had me come back one day, and I got like 4 or 5 orders that day, and Donnie Wahlberg was like, "Hey, good to see you again." So it was really cool that they're so gracious and so nice on that set.
Well, if you're interested, I would love to work with you. And if you want me to promote your items, I'm more than happy to.
Aw, you're a sweetheart.
I'm a good person. I'm a bad flirt. It's funny. I can flirt with women, but I can't land a girlfriend. Go figure, right?
You're working on it. You're working on it.
It is. I have my moments. It's on my things to do list.
That and the pyramid.
Well, that too. Thanks. Now for trying to think, like I said, too early in the morning, my mind's just trying to process. What was... actually, I'm going to pass it over to you. Let's make it more fun. Was there anything about Blue Bloods that you say, you have to be in New York? How did you get your part on Blue Bloods?
My agent sent me in for an audition, because I have agents and manager. Sent me in for an audition. No matter how small or large the role, I always prepare for things. So like when I was on Orange is the New Black, I kind of, got into character for that. But, just went in, prepared for the role, kind of have a couple ideas in your mind. If they give you some direction to change it so you're not completely thrown, like, wait, I only rehearsed this one way. So be able to move accordingly to any notes you're given, and just went in and auditioned for it. And I got a callback, which was with one of the head casting directors and the director of the show for the callback, and then I booked it.
Well, I do have a couple questions for you off the air, if you don't mind.
Okay.
But the first one, I always ask, I have a couple of professional questions off the air. Dude, don't worry, I'm not going to flirt anymore. But I was going to ask you, you have to be in New York to be on Blue Bloods, number one. And, no, I'm actually, that's true, right? Because New York, Blue Bloods is based in a New York show, so it makes sense for people to be based there. I give you a perfect example. I came across, I know that didn't make sense, I apologize. I came across this acting director on LinkedIn who works for Hawaii Five-0.
Okay.
And at the time, I wanted to be an actor. And I was like, oh, cool, I'm a big fan of the show. Oh, all right, can he come in tomorrow? Oh, that's perfect. Where are you based in the city? Yeah, we're not in the city. We're in Hawaii. I'm like, all right. I don't have money to go to Hawaii, so I missed out on that. But Hawaii Five-0 is based in Hawaii. Hawaii Five-0 is based in Hawaii.
All shows that, say they're based somewhere are actually based there. Like the show Empire, I believe, is based in New York, it's supposed to be. But that's actually shot in Chicago. So, in your defense, not all shows are where they say they are.
No, absolutely. Suits, for that matter. Suits, it says it's based in New York, but they're actually filming in Toronto.
Perfect example. There you go. That's
another great show that had a perfect ending, but they don't know how to end shows.
Yeah, I like Suits.
Like Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad had a perfect ending, but they just kept it going. I don't know, I guess the ending was okay, but season 4 is when it should have ended, personally.
Okay.
But, like we were saying, Hawaii Five-0, based in Hawaii. Grimm, I would have loved to had a chance to be on Grimm. They were in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago Med, they're in supposedly Chicago. And, Blue Bloods are in the city. But I'm going to ask you, did you ever go through any main websites? And a perfect example is for people who want to do what you're doing. Are you on why not promote social media? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you on Twitter, Facebook? And the first question is, what websites did you go through to get to where you are, number one? And does social media dictate if we should work with this person or that person?
I am in all of the above, as you mentioned, for social media. I do have a LinkedIn account. Don't go on it as much, but I know when I'm a host and doing reporting, that's a great resource for me to look other people up to see, where you studied, because maybe there are some points that we can, bond on or chat. Like, say you're from Indiana, like, oh, so am I. So I use LinkedIn for that. Twitter, I, for a long time, had a Twitter account for the blog that I had, and I would use that. But, doing the movie that I was just doing called Christmas and Homestead, it was on the Hallmark channel, I was finding that, maybe people can't find me when my Twitter handle is, my frugalnomics. So I just recently switched over to Brandhyze as my handle. I've had it for a long time, but just hadn't really used it. I am on Facebook, use that heavily, and Instagram. And so for my own personal brand and my bags, I'm trying to now be more, have a focus on building the account and, knowing like, oh, I wanted to, the pictures to look this way for my bag Instagram page, and, got to do this many posts per day, because unfortunately, to answer your question, it does get to a point, I've heard it so many times, where it's now like you have 3 equally talented people. They're all great. We love them. Who has the biggest social media following? And it's like, if that's what it's come down to, no longer my talent. If I can carry the role, will I show up and be professional? Will you enjoy being around me for 12 hours a day? It's now, who has the biggest social media following, because they want to know that part of their work is done for them, that, you have a built-in audience, that if we put Brandhyze on this show, people are going to tune in and watch because they like what she provides and the content she has. And so, unfortunately, it's a necessary evil to do social media in today's day and age.
Well, with that being said, do you think social media is bullshit? And do you think it's just people trying to... I'll give you a perfect example. How do you know... Let's compare... Is that you or is that me?
I thought it might be you.
I don't know. I have nothing on.
Let me try to close one thing. So it's...
Your bet's definitely on your end.
Okay, sorry about that.
Don't worry about it. What I say about social media is bullshit. It's let me give you a perfect comparison. Right now, it took me 3.5 years to get up to 500 people, and I didn't really take a good look at your account, but you have over 1,000 people. So, how I know social media is bullshit, it's look at it like this. I have a good message. I'm handicapped. Yes, I'm not proud to say it, but people say I am retarded. But I have a good message. I'm showing people with a learning disability I can still amount to something. Now, is that good enough? I'm trying to find the words for it, because it's too early in the morning, and I'm not coming across how I want to be. Like, say we're in a room together, and we're talking to this actor or producer, saying, okay, Keith, you have this great message, you're showing people with a learning disability, you can still amount to something, blah, 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 you heard the whole speech. But yet, Brenda over here has over 1 million people following her. We're going to go with her because she has a bigger social media following. Now, does that really... No, you are a terrific actor. I love your work. And you are a beautiful woman. And you probably can do laps around me. But do you think that's fair just because you have millions of people following you? That kind of overlooks and beats the message of saying this kid has a learning disability and he's working his ass off. Do you think it says one thing's better than another? If that makes any sense.
It does make sense. And no, I don't think it necessarily dictates that one is any better than the other. Just the opportunity someone has been given, or say they had, a friend who was semi-popular, kind of shouted them out or mentioned them, kind of set the ball rolling for them to get more likes. And all of a sudden, because this person endorsed them or amened what they had going on, all of a sudden now they have this meteoric rise in their numbers, which, like you said, you have something that a lot of people should hear the message, and it should be out and known. And unfortunately, sometimes you have to beat the drum. And I encourage you to, if you already haven't, I don't know, but, hit up different media outlets to let them know. Keep tagging the same people. I listen to a lot of audiobooks that have, inspirational messages, kind of Think and Grow Rich, The Automatic Millionaire, stuff to kind of just get my brain going, and The Secret, a lot of books like those. And so one of them, this guy, Les Brown, I don't know if you've heard of him, was just re-listening to that book where he was saying, he reached out to a guy for, I think it was Ebony Magazine, for like 2.5 years. And so all we see is the end effort that, he finally got in the magazine. But, this was 2.5 years in the making of him pestering this guy. Immediately when he told him that he would be interested in having him in the magazine, he FedExed him over his information and, a thank you note to thank him in advance for having him on. And he would call and just want to give you another call to say thanks in advance for having me. And so he did this for 2.5 years. Like, that's like 800 days or so if you want to look at it that way. And just thinking, like, a lot of us get tired after the second, third, fourth time you haven't answered me back or you're not paying me any attention. I'm going to take my ball and I'm going to go somewhere else, versus being like, nope, I'm going to get my message out here. One day it's going to break through. The right person is going to see it, and the right person is going to put me on to, and so I can be in front of a bigger audience at some point. But it's the countless hours and staying up late and rising early and answering emails and sending pitches and stuff that no one sees in the background that will eventually pay off for you. I'm totally confident of that.
No, absolutely. And then that's the other reason I would say is social media is bullshit, is that there's this thing on there that you can pay people to follow you. Now, the question I'm going to ask you, and the people will say, okay, well, we've asked her, and let's throw it back at you. How do you know those 500 people are real? I'm going to go on the record and say, yes, I used to pay for those, Facebook extreme posts and those Twitter followers. The problem is that if you don't pay them, they will freeze your account. Oh. So I got rid of them. So I earn all those 300, and I don't know if you like my page, but people can go to Facebook, KeithAndrewNetWork.com. It's on Facebook. And it's also in the link description. I earn those likes.
Okay.
And then on Twitter, it's up to 580. I earn those people. Mm-hmm. And the same thing on, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can take the easy way and you can pay people to promote you, but at the same time, I get a satisfaction out of saying, I worked my ass off, saying, I earned this. I got this myself. Like my talk show, no one helped me with this. Mm-hmm. Everyone makes comments about me and make jokes. But I'm doing this every single day on my own for 3.5 years. This June will be 4 years. And I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm, not going to wood. I really hope this is turning into something. But before I pass the show over to you, we have 17 minutes left. The first thing I'm going to ask you is, were you ever using a LinkedIn, Stage 32, or this website I came across yesterday, Backstage? Like, one, how did you find your agent? And two, is there any websites you would recommend?
I have used Backstage some. I have a friend who just recently, I'm like a new poster child for it. I have a friend who just recently booked what started out as a print job that he had submitted himself for.
Right.
And then it was like, oh, you may be featured background in a commercial. And by the end of it, he was the love interest of the main character of the commercial. And, so it was awesome. So I'm like, I may have to go back to doing that. I find that I get a lot more stuff when I promote myself for hosting. So being the reporter, I'll get immediate, feedback from those type of things and asked to come in and audition. And people love my reel because I've been fortunate to interview a lot of A-list stars. But for acting, it's more of the beating the pavement. And so, for hosting stuff, some people are like wary of Craigslist. It's not my first choice, but I have found a lot of stuff on Craigslist. I found a job that started off as free for hosting when I was getting started, and eventually over 2 years after working with this company, I made over $60,000 because it turned into a paid opportunity. And so, just submitting yourself, being wary. I wouldn't show up at some Brooklyn apartment for my casting if that's where it said I needed to be. But, just putting yourself out there and submitting, and Actors Access is a great, tool for actors to use to promote themselves, casting networks. So there are a lot of show websites out there that will allow you to pitch yourself, put up pictures, have a reel, because it's kind of the chicken and the egg when you're an actor. They want you to have a reel, but someone has to have hired you first for you to have had said reel. And so it's, a lot of student projects or stuff that you shot yourself to get your name out there, to kind of get the startings of a reel and get yourself on tape so that you can pitch yourself for TV shows and movies. And you said, how did I get my agents?
Yes.
I got one. I've gone to pay-to-play type workshops before. So there are a lot in the city for like one-on-one, the actor's green room, different places like that where you pay to meet the casting directors or agents. And, in the beginning, years ago, when I first heard about this, I'm like, I have to pay to meet these people? Like, what's up with that? But, you go to enough of them and you hear the same message over and over that, over 2,000 actors might be submitted for one role. And only 20 people are going to get an audition time. And then one person books that out of the 2,000 that submitted. And so what makes said casting director call, Keith in for this role when I don't know your work, I've never seen you, how are you with audition lines, can you take adjustments if I give them to you, or are you all thrown and rattled? So they want to go on a sure bet that you can get the job done. So, I have done that in the past for a manager. My manager actually saw me on Blue Bloods and reached out to me, and we started working together. My agent I work with now in New York, the agent himself used to be at my commercial agent. He was the assistant there. And so, just kind of building relationships, always being nice to everybody, because you never know. And so, and you want people to be nice to you is another important factor. So I was always nice and chatted with him. And when I found out that he had gone to a different agency and started in a legit department, I asked him to bring me on. I have a wonderful agent in the Southeast, because there's a lot of work in Atlanta and New Orleans and Tennessee and those areas. And so my boyfriend referred me to that agent, and so I started working with her, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful ride.
No, absolutely. Now, the next question, now it's got 2 questions, so I'm going to pass it over to you.
Okay.
You mentioned the chicken and the egg, so what came first, chicken or the egg?
I'm going to say the egg. I don't know how.
And the next question was, I know I'm not an actor, but do you think for what I'm doing, do you think I would get any benefits out of signing up to, I'm just trying to think of that name you just mentioned, Access to the Room for Actors?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that would be good for me, or do you think it's just for actors?
If that's the avenue you want to pursue and you want to get into acting, I do think that would be a good place for you to start.
Well, what would you recommend? Passing the show over to you. This is your time, after all.
Okay. I think you should definitely put yourself on as many sites. I wouldn't pay for all of them, but put yourself on sites. I would get, a nice headshot. It is an investment because, some people can say like, oh, I can get a friend to shoot me for free, but nobody ever calls you in. So I say headshots are definitely an investment to get them done and get them done right. I would start, if you don't already have a reel or footage of you acting per se, I would start submitting myself on the Backstage, the Actors Access, the Craigslist, the Mandy.com, different websites like that to get yourself out there to be seen, to be asked to be a part of, this NYU, this Columbia, student projects, to just get your foot in the door to have some footage for yourself so you can compile it into a reel. And yeah, I think there are roles out there for you.
No, absolutely. Like I said, I usually talk a lot, and I apologize. I have no filter. Was there anything you wanted to promote? I would like to know, do you have any commercials for your handbags, or?
Do I have commercials?
Yeah.
Not yet. That's a great aspiration. I'm a one-woman workshop at the moment doing the handbags. So I hand stitch them, so they take hours to make, but I take a lot of pride in my work, and it's called Brandhyze & Co. So I'm working on the co part, but getting them out there and making some sales, and getting better and better every day. So it's fun. Do you have any hobbies that you like to do besides doing this and spotlighting others?
I have a passion for making videos. Like in my free time, I do a lot of fan-made parodies. Like if you're interested, maybe you can help me with it. But I do a lot of fan-made parodies for Dumbo and Jungle Book. Those were my two favorite movies growing up.
Okay.
So I would find people that I like, and then I would give them a couple of lines from the movie. And then we say, can he do it in different voices? Could he do it? And just put a different spin on it. Mm-hmm. So I do that for fun. And it kind of annoys me that they get more hits and views than my actual interviews. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, why? I'm doing something wrong, but it's. But
if you said those, I'm sorry. If you said those are quick, people like a good laugh.
Yeah.
People like, we're in a microwave generation where people like to, something quick and fun, like, I checked that out, cool. But like you said, it is unfortunate that the meaty, hearty stuff doesn't get the same attention. I wonder if you did smaller clips for that play into it. But awesome that you're doing those though.
That's true. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, and what about, was there, for handbags, one idea I do have, I would love to work with you. Do you do, custom orders? Like, for an example, if we worked together, and I said I would like a custom handbag that had the KeithAndrewNetWork on it, would you be interested in doing something like that, or would it take away from your work? But you can be completely honest.
No. I just got, ironically, I asked for things that, I need or good investments for gifts. And so I just recently, we're missing some parts when it got here, but I just recently got a gold foil stamping machine.
Right.
I'm really excited about trying out when I get all the pieces to it. So, if that's something monogram that someone, would want, I do custom orders. They are priced differently because, like I did one as a Christmas gift, and the guy wanted for his wife a longer handle, this double center meat zipper, and had rivets down the side, and so it was kind of pieces from a few different bags that I've done, and so totally do custom items.
No, because the reason I'm on this, I guess, rant, is because I definitely want to work with you. I definitely want to create a partnership with you. I think it'll be beneficial for you. A lot of people, I was talking about creating my own shirt, and I was like, well, it's kind of like this, but then it has KeithAndrewNetWork across it. But then I was like, well, maybe I should come up with different items, like, for an example, a mouse pad that had KeithAndrewNetWork, a phone case that has KeithAndrewNetWork. But for the women, they, not to sound sexist, and if that came across, I apologize. But old women like having fancy handbags. So I was like, maybe that's a possibility. One, it gets my logo out there, and two, it gets your work out there, so it's a win-win situation. So would that be something you would be interested in, and kind of cross-promoting each other?
with having it on the handbag, I think it immediately struck me when you said, like, you have the mouse pads or the t-shirts. I can totally see how those tie in to your brand specifically. I think that's kind of reaching outside of your wheelhouse and may not benefit you as much to cross-promote in that area. Like with the Keith Andrews t-shirt, you can always wear it, whether you wear, blazer over it or, just wear it like that every time you have an interview. Like, I see now a lot of hairstylists are taking, the pictures of their clients in the chair, and over their capes, they have their, Instagram handle on the chest of the person. So it's constantly getting out there, and we're constantly seeing it because you're in the frame during this whole entire interview. I could see the mouse pad because you do your interviews at your desk. So I could see you having that. If you had a coffee mug that you periodically drink from while you're talking to someone, we see that. So that's, cross-branding for you, or just branding for you within the confines of what you do, that I think you would get more mileage out of.
All right. Well, like for a perfect example, if you want me, I can make it like a fan-made parody commercial for you. If there's items you want to sell and you want me to promote for you, basically I'm just, like I said, I'm just extending my hand to you in friendship. You help me, I help you, and I thought the handbags would be a good idea because I saw on Vistaprint.com they do like tote bags, and I'm like, well, why do you want something cheap? If you gotta do something right, I want to go all out. So I want to do, something really nice. But there's a lot of different variations out there. But you can always give me ideas.
Yeah.
See what we can always do. But wrapping up, do you have any funny stories you'd like to share? Like I said, this is your time after all.
Funny stories. One episode of Blue Bloods. We did the scene so many times. Well, you know what? I'll go up to Christmas in Homestead, the Hallmark movie that I just did. And it ran all, it started on Thanksgiving and ran through almost to Christmas, right through Christmas. And so, shooting that, it's great when you see the snow and, it looks so wintry, and it was like 90 degrees while we're shooting this movie. And in between takes, we're all like, woo! It's so hot out here. But as soon as the cameras roll, you got to be frigid and, making believe. And so, it's interesting shooting that, and so funny to see people with pit stains in between scenes where they got to keep taking their coat on and off, being so hot and shooting a Christmas movie. Though it was October, it was still pretty toasty.
But have you ever gotten to do the scene where you're supposed to be outside and it's freezing, but you have sweat pour down your face? It's like, how do you get past that?
I'm not a big sweater, so thank God I don't have that. But, you just kind of have to dab your forehead or let the makeup artist do it, because you don't want, if you have foundation on as a woman, you don't want the makeup artist being like, you're wiping your makeup off. So, keep cool. Someone will probably give you a little fan to kind of use, drink a lot of water, whatever it is to kind of make the scene work. So, you don't want to mess anything up, and you don't want to mess with continuity. So you have to keep things looking the way they are throughout each scene.
No, absolutely. I do have two more questions for you, and then we can wrap up. And then I do have a couple questions off the air. I was talking to a couple of people about doing an autograph signing. Mm-hmm. And so the first question is, have you ever been to Comic-Con? And would you be interested in doing autograph signings?
I'm always open, to doing autograph signing and meeting people. I have been to Comic-Con once. I might have been twice. Very interesting experience. People go all out with their costumes and being in character there. Just grown adults loving to dress up and have fun, and any excuse to do it in New York City is a good time to a lot of people. So Comic-Con is definitely fun.
Because the reason I bring it up is I've been trying to talk to the Poughkeepsie Comic-Con to get myself out there more. Still in the works. But I was also talking about this other place that I was like, well, I do have a couple of famous actor friends. And actors interview, I hope you consider me as one. And I was like, well, would you be interested in some autograph signings? So I was wondering, would you be interested in that?
That sounds like something fun, just rant, if someone sends me a picture or something, or I have a picture, I've definitely done that for people. So a lot of kids, basically, who have wanted that. So it's definitely something I'd be open to.
And part of that question is, do you think, because I was thinking about doing some speaking engagements, I want your honest opinion. I know I'm going to get a lot of comments on this. For what I'm doing, do you think I'm at the point where I should get speaking engagements and I should do my own Comic-Con, or do you think that I'm not at that point?
I think you definitely should be doing speaking engagements. I would go to schools, universities. When I said schools, I meant elementary schools, and speak to kids, and universities to speak to adults, and corporations. I definitely think you have a message and a story that needs to be heard. One of perseverance and not letting anything be your excuse and getting yourself out there. I don't know if having your own Comic-Con, because that is a humongous feat. Now, if you wanted to kind of, tag yourself into one of theirs and you're able to get the one, like you said, in Poughkeepsie, I'd say all for it. The more the merrier. The many times you can get your name and face out there is best. But I would kind of start with the smaller engagements and kind of work up some interest in following.
Well, what I meant by having my own Comic-Con is I don't have enough to have my own panel, but I'm very interested in doing a Q&A.
Okay.
So do you think that's a good idea, or do you think let's do the engagements first?
Now, would you dress up as a character? Forgive my ignorance on exactly what your role would be at a Comic-Con. Tell me more about that.
Oh, that would be exactly what we're doing now. Tell you about my show, how I get started, overcoming controversy. When people say you don't overcome controversy, but just overcoming obstacles to saying, well, I have a disability, I was handicapped, retarded, but look at what I was able to accomplish. So I was thinking about getting myself out there more. Maybe a Q&A would be a step in the right direction. But what's your honest opinion?
I think Q&As, yes. I don't know if Comic-Con is necessary unless you can tie it some way into some type of comic book character. I don't know if that's my first platform I would suggest for you, but you're free to do whatever you like. But I definitely think schools would be a good place to start for you.
Well, if we would have loved to work together, I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now, stay tuned. I do have 2 questions for you off the air. Okay. But I took this one from Bill O'Reilly, so all rights go to Bill. I'm trying to get on his show. I'm trying to get him on mine. On the record, when I first approached you, what was your honest opinion of me? And after being interviewed, how do you feel now?
I thought you were courageous, and you seemed fun, and I liked the chutzpah that you had. You getting yourself out there and approaching people, and not caring what if people might say, oh no, maybe I'm too busy or can't get to that one right now. You're just getting as many interviews as you can, and I think that's awesome. I think my impression has been compounded, and I love what you're doing. I love your drive. I love your spirit. You seem to be a lot of fun in the time that we've spent together. And so, I just definitely think that there's no limit on what you can do. And I like that you have fun with it. And we've joked around, but you still have a serious message that you want to get out there, that no matter what disability or label that someone might have put on you, that's their problem. We can't worry about what other people say about us. It's not our issue. We can't control it. Even if we think we're being perfect or doing everything right, people are still going to have something to say. So say kudos to you for getting out there.
I appreciate it. Now stay tuned for after the show. I do have a couple questions for you. We're wrapping up. It was a real honor and privilege to have you on the air. Looking forward to part 2 and building a friendship with you as well.
Bye.